so getting into the projects, they're broken into different projects. And again, I'm not here to, we're not approving each and all these projects. This will be a conversation moving on in the next couple of months. Many of these are programmed into this budget that we have. And we'll go from there. Fiscal year 27, we have some traffic signals, Jetport hangars, Central Avenue, Atkinson sidewalks, Mouse Creek widening phase 1. And I want to talk about number 4 is the downtown pedestrian crossings around the courthouse. Our goal is to find a solution for all 4 intersections around the courthouse that you'll have pedestrian heads. That may also include replacing some of the 40-year plus technology and mast arms that are out there. But we pretty much have to, that we're down to our last several, I don't know if you call them switches or boxes. And there. So it's a well-timed project. We want to come away with that, with having crosswalks at all 4 of those intersections, and that's kind of a newly stated goal. We'll go back and have the new aesthetically pleasing crosswalks, and I think it will give some more aesthetics along with safety for people. Moving on, the fiscal for local transportation infrastructure projects, the Church Street, it will be undergrounding the power lines there. It will also bring fiber to the other side of Inman, and we'll also have the new sidewalks and replace. They're quite old in those areas. We have the new Inman Trailhead Park, which will be necessary. We have good news related to phase 6, or the Starbucks connector, which we have a number of people that have signed their documents for the right-of-way, and I'm not aware of any hurdles that we have other than time. We get that, we will start construction on that connection from Willow Street into the downtown area, which has been just a complete odyssey to get there. But everything is going along fine on that project. I'm moving to fiscal year 28 for local transportation and infrastructure projects. When I say local transportation, that means locally funded. Traffic signals, Kingsden, Peerless, Dakota Sage, Michigan Avenue, Mouse Creek widening phase 2, South Lee sidewalks phase 1. Then you have North Lee sidewalks phase 1, 17th Street Georgetown intersection widening. Those are all slated for next year.
Dean, change the slide.
I'm sorry.
Change the slide.
Do you want me to click through?
Probably. Can you give her a thing?
So much good, I want everybody to see it.
If you can't see it, there's copies sitting right there. I would encourage people to grab one and do that. And I also need to be better. Fiscal year 29, traffic signals, more traffic signals. One that we're out there that we're really investigating is at Old Tasso and Blythe Ferry. We have Mouse Creek widening, South Lee sidewalks, North Lee sidewalks. First Baptist intersection connection, Weeks Drive Bridge, which is in the need of some help. So moving on, we have projects that we've heard about for this year, state and federal funding transportation projects. And I'm happy to take any questions on anything. The J-turns are going to be bid in October this year, so they will start that 25th project on doing that. McCoy, 25th Street in McCoy should start construction in 27, if everything goes the way that it's going. That will be a very tricky project, but will be a very worthwhile project, but that will have some growing pains associated with it. You have the Starbucks connection, Phase 6, 25th Street and Peerless Stormwater. That project's gonna start on June 8th, if everything goes the way it should. And we have the FTA bus stops, fiscal year 28. We have the 25th Street multi-pass sidewalk, and we have the 25th Street, and you have a TA grant, and then you have an MMA grant. One is 80/20 and one is 95/5. We're well into the design on those projects. Fiscal year 29, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but it's probably not, we have received funding for building our 3rd Street corridor bridge over the railroad downtown. We received $32 million to build all the infrastructure on the east side of the community, or south and east side of the community. We feel very comfortable that we will get the build grant in June or so when they relate, don't take that just to a grain of salt, but we think that we will be very successful in getting that. Mouse Creek paving Phase 4, a roundabout on Georgetown and West Side. So those are all the state projects that we'll experience over the next 3 years. Again, we're going to have conversations on more of these. Quality of life projects, fiscal year 27. For this year, we have the synthetic grass, we have the Candies Greenway Fletcher connection, Candies Greenway trailhead. So we have the right of way for those. Candies Freewheel trailhead over on Freewheel. Fletcher Park rehabilitation. At Fletcher Park is in okay shape. Some of the walking bridges that are 25, 30 years old are experience extreme decay, and we need to figure out what the next generation of that is. So we will be doing that. One thing about the timing of this, what we understand is that the gas company, which has a pipeline through the middle of that, is really going to dig up huge portions of Fletcher Park this summer to replace that line or to upgrade that. So while they're out there digging, we might as well be doing some stuff as well, from what we understand. Yes, yes. Yeah, the parking lot needs to be rehabbed. If we can get it to grow a little bit, there's quite a few times that there's not adequate parking out there. There's times that it probably operates at about 80% capacity all the time. It's a little small, but it's certainly showing its age out there. It needs restroom improvements for sure. And there are some of the trails that have been that stay flooded. It rains and 3 days later it's still there's water in it. We need to redo the stormwater in those and repave some of those sections. The whole park doesn't need to be repaved, but there are sections that need to be fixed so that they are better in wet water events.
Joe, I know you know
Yes.
this, but we built the bridge from Candies Creek connection, Fletcher Park, like all that double in usage. I mean, it will.
So you think parking really needs to be upgraded if we do that?
Yes, and even rethinking of, they're gonna really dig up that pipeline, which goes right through that part there. That's the time to get those French drains in, particularly, I mean, because it's pretty close to the really low spots. I'm just saying, thinking ahead, I'm thrilled with the cut that's going in. I'm thrilled with the owner's willingness for the right of way, and we think we can afford a bridge to get across Kings Creek closer to bridges.
Great.
You know, so I just think that's gonna radically change Fletcher. It's such a jewel now, but it will really be accessible and a true connector. Just don't know, right? So maybe we might, I would think a little bigger. That's just,
People are excited about the connection.
yeah. I went and walked it this weekend, and I could see it for the first time. Like, you know, walked all the way. It's overgrown, right under the interstate. It's all, but it with the new PUD and where the easements were given, I'm like, you know, we were talking first bridge. So, thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we think that those connections, I mean, that just those bridge connections that you can get, I think we have like 5,000 new household or residents will get access to get onto that because of some of the connections. So, because before you've always had, you couldn't get over the stream, so it kind of blocked out everyone on that side, and now we have the ability to have better connections.
And that's why I think Fletcher will.
Yeah. And part of what has been discussed is that Fletcher Park, from our conversations, is that there, because it's all low, is that Fletcher Park itself could grow by 5 or 6 acres on the other side of the things that they want to make that. So it's part of the connection. So you have some real opportunities there, undefined, but we think that there's a lot of opportunity there. I can't remember where I left off. Might have been right up here. No, not even close. Not even
You're on
close.
page 27.
All right. Tinsley Park.
Mr. Fibus, while we're on a little bit of a break, Mr. Miller, Councilman Casta is trying to watch live stream and is saying that he's not hearing the voices of the council members. Councilman Estes, if you could all make sure that our microphones.
Sorry, Tom.
But I also got a report that they're having trouble hearing in this room as well. So I don't know if we can turn it up, Chris, or what we can do, but won't be long, and we'll be in our new council chambers, and we won't have that problem.
Tinsley Park, and I wanted to have some slides, we'll do it at the next meeting, is all paved. Is the paving completed, Tommy? The binder is out there, so it looks so amazing. If you go and look at it, of having all the black surface, and you know, we all have that memory of all the potholes and all of that stuff.
Chernobyl.
It's Tinsley Park is going to take people's breaths away when it's all said and done. You can see that there's a lot of value there. Fiscal year 28. Aesthetics, wayfinding, 25th Street Gateway projects, Candy's Greenway, Fletcher to West Side Drive, 4th District Pocket Park, 29, Candy's Greenway, Sharp Park Extension, Aquatic Center, Greenway Center, city facilities. So I think that, again, we're not approving any of this, we're just talking about it. We have the public safety training and traffic facility out at where the fire training center is. We have budgeted to get that 9,000 square foot building up there that can serve a lot of different needs, training facility, restrooms, other opportunities out there. We have some money to, in this budget, and we'll talk about it, but to look at our animal control space and figure out what the next generation is going to have for animal control. There's a lot of maintenance issues that we need to work through out there, and part of that is to have some professional help that can bring some options for everyone to consider. new Kuwatts transportation facility. This is part of the money that we got earmarked from Congress to help with that. This would end up in having the depot be owned by the city, with them having a brand new facility. City Wellness Center. In the budget, you'll have that we're going to start planning for Fire Station 7. Hopefully a new animal control, a family transitional, that's the Empowerment Center, new elementary school, new public works, transportation, environmental affairs facility. 4 mega projects that we're working on. These will dominate pretty much the rest of our year in one way or the other, are the Hardwick Farms projects and getting that infrastructure worked out. Exit 20 tax increment finance and development projects. Whirlpool and Third Street corridor projects. And there's another huge project that people don't know about yet, so I'm not here, but there'll be 4 projects that will just overwhelm us. They're probably it might be at least 3 of the 4 are some of the biggest projects we've had in Cleveland, and we're doing them all close in the same time frame, which is exciting and daunting. But those are the projects that we'll need a lot of help from the council on those projects. So moving on to the actual budget that you have, I'm going to wrap this up in 10 minutes, Mayor. This is a balanced budget. No tax rate increase is needed. Heavy investments in public safety, fire department. The council in the budget that is included is the salary increases for all personnel, fire, police, and general city employees. So that we felt that in doing the budget and taking on those costs, but it was not detrimental, and we were able to plug that in and to work through that. But the fire department, we had an agreement, and it's been in our last 2 budgets, to not do another fire engine until fiscal year 28. In this budget, we've given ourselves some flexibility. Sometimes they run specials on pricing, and later in this year, if we get that opportunity, that we would like to go forward and to start the process. Getting a fire truck is anywhere between 2 and 2.5 years to get here, and you know that. And I think that over a 3-year period, we should come close to be able to save up enough money in the apparatus fund to be able to fund that. Part of that is also starting the development for Fire Station 7 and generating there. We do have some service issues out on the north side of the community, and that would be hopeful at having some additional reach with that. The police department, we funded 2 new positions. One is a new detective position for funded 50% opioid funds, and then the other one is to have someone that is focused just on the AWARE system. We've had a tour of the AWARE system. That's all the cameras, and the criminal intelligence division is basically giving us more eyes and ears on that system, managing that. We're starting we got a very good, I would give a lot of credit to the police department and some of their staff. They did an unbelievable job of negotiating with Motorola to get new body cams and to get all kinds of other technology at a very discounted rate. And so they'll have some additional technology with body cams and all kinds of options with those. Transportation and the environmental services. Talked about street paving. The Jetport hangars are under construction. Salt storage shed, we need to get constructed. Our facility is at the end of its life, or it probably was 10 years ago, and we need to figure that out. And a lot of that's probably the big heavy lift in transportation world will be taking on the street lights and what that will entail. On the agenda today, you'll have an item that starts that financial funding issue, or changes the starting a process to buy back our assets that will save us money at the end of the day from what Lincoln Utilities is charging us right now. Mouse Creek road turn lanes, South Lee Highway, walkable network. Those issues. Central Avenues, construction, development and quality of life, and I'm falling way behind. Had a great presentation, from what I understand, on the arts and entertainment facility, and really creating a new economic paradigm in the downtown. I'm really excited about the great work that's been done with that. We have the Whirlpool property, which we're making progress. There's a lot of internal back and forth between the former owner and TDEC on doing that. Of course, they're required to clean that up, and you will start seeing that this year. Sports tourism, aquatic center, Tinsley Park redevelopment. A lot of the programs we kind of went through a lot of that earlier. I will share in other compensation issues. The council, we moved the baseline for employees from 50% to 70% for employees. One thing that I think that Kim Miller deserves a lot of credit for is our healthcare package. I mean, we basically have been able to hold the line on healthcare costs, which is very difficult in this time of day. And it's because of a lot of the strategies that we have with our pharmacy. In the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, we've saved about $5 million in total because of our creative approach to pharmacy. And we take those savings and hold, we get slight bump ups from in our healthcare package. With those savings in our pharmacy, we're able to pay for our healthcare, and that allows us to keep our benefit at the same pace of where it was. So we feel Kim deserves a lot of credit for that, and just the manage of that, and I think Rhonda was part of that as well previously, and now Martha is taking that place. But I think that goes to the creativity that we do behind the scenes that you probably don't necessarily see all the time, but have real savings. That's what makes us the most efficient local government in the state, by having those types of returns on strategic policies. I think that overall, the budget is a no drama budget, but there's an awful lot in there for no drama, and we're excited about that, and I'm happy to address any questions on the budget. The project list, we intend to bring that back at future meetings. work individually at councils, either adding, hopefully having a finalized 3-year package sometime in the next couple months.
Thank you, Ms. Fivas. I've got to commend you for squeezing all of that in, $250 million worth of conversation. 246.18, as I recall. I just want to commend you and the staff for putting all that together, but I also want to just take a quick second, and for those who are also in line to present some budget, although it's 3 o'clock, you are still going to be allowed to do that. Mr. Fivas has a few more things to go over as city manager, but I just wanted to put your mind at ease for the utilities and education that will happen, because there are some votes that have to be taken on the consent calendar and some other things that have to do with budgets. So those budget presentations will be allowed.
We'll do it at the presentations.
Perfect. All right. As Mr. Fivas said, no drama budget, but that's the best kind of budget, able to accomplish incredible forward progress and momentum for the city of Cleveland without a tax increase. And is any comments or questions from the council before we go further?
Joe, I wonder sometimes if the public, there's communications to the point the public really understands what we're doing with the budget. I mean, we're getting a lot for their bucks.
I think we need to take more credit for it.
I think,
I mean, I think, when you are operating the most efficient local government in the state with the high level of quality of services that we provide, I think that all elected officials and city staff deserve a lot of credit for that. And we need to do better communicating that probably.
I think we do.
See, the trick is talking right to 259 and then you get no question. See what we did there?
I see what you did there.
It goes without being said, I think, but I think that Sean McKay, Christy Powers, Christy Brandon, and all the department heads and all of the budget managers you have, everyone from all the departments, they work on this thing for 3 months, and it is a heavy lift to get all the numbers in the right place and to get everything to cross-check and do that. They're the ones that really deserve all the credit for getting the documents that you have and putting that. So I think that if you see them, give them the due appreciation for just the outstanding work that they do to bring this day to there. I think that there is a lot of drama behind the scenes up front when we're doing that, but our goal is to have no drama at the end. So anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Fivas, and we will see you back momentarily for your city manager report. Without objection from the council, are you all okay if I close the 1 o'clock session and we begin the 3 o'clock session, and then we'll go directly into, or should we just continue going, Mr. Fivas?
It's your prerogative. You probably want to do some of the roll call and some of that stuff, but if you want to start at the presentation, I can finish off the agenda review and let our friends go over that, and then we'll be back on track.
All right. So I will, we will adjourn our 1 o'clock work session, which went right up into the 3 o'clock, which means we will now move into the 3 o'clock session. I'll call to order the city council meeting for Monday, May 18th for the regular session of the Cleveland City Council. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Brooks,
Here.
Councilwoman
You
McKenzie,
guys are first.
Councilman Estes,
Here.
Councilman Cassida, Councilman May,
You're first.
Councilman Goff,
Here.
Vice Mayor Webb,
Here.
Councilman Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. as is our tradition, we will continue with the prayer and the pledge at the beginning of this meeting. I've asked the Vice Mayor to give our invocation and following salute. And pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Mayor?
Please bow your head with me. Lord, we're thankful for this day. We are thankful that we can gather in a peaceful assembly, discuss the business of our city, and the decisions we make, Lord, we just pray that they will be favorable in your sight and acceptable to you. Lord, I ask for the continued safety of all of our employees as they go about their daily jobs. And please allow them, Lord, to return home after their shifts to their family. Lord, watch over, guide, and direct us in everything that we do. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. All right, we are back on at least our agenda start time. The next item on the agenda is to waive the reading of the minutes from our last regular session of 22nd April 2026. That does require a motion from this council.
Mayor, I move that the City Council of the City of Cleveland waive the reading of the minutes of the regular session of the City Council held on April 27, 2026, and approve them as written.
Second. Proper motion by Vice Mayor Webb, probably seconded by Councilman May. Any comments, questions, or changes on those minutes? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Webb,
Aye.
Councilman May, Councilman Goff, Councilman Moore,
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie, Councilman Estes. Carries 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Yes, Vice Mayor.
I'd like to make a motion that Councilman Cassidy is excused from this session.
That is proper motion by Councilman, Vice Mayor Webb, probably seconded by Councilman Goff. Any comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Webb,
Aye.
Councilman Goff, Councilman Moore,
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie, Councilman Estes, Councilman May.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and thank you, Vice Mayor, for that motion. Takes us to item number 5, special presentations, public comments. We don't have a scheduled presentation. We, of course, have a great deal of budget conversations. Anyone seeking for public comments? Seeing none, we will then go to, actually, I'm wondering, Mr. Fivas, should we go back to the presentations prior to these public hearings? I'll ask that as only a question. Instead of going straight to the public hearing, should we go backwards and finish the budget presentation?
Yes.
I think so too. All right, so Mr. Fivas, you're recognized.
I want to invite Cleveland Utilities to come up and they can give their summary of their budget. Again, council does not vote on the budget. But according, I think, on their bylaws or their charter, that they have to come and present their budget to them. So go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Walt Vineyard. I'm the Executive Vice President here at Cleveland Utilities. And I have with me Marshall Stinnen, our CFO and Vice President of the Accounting Division. Our President and CEO, Tim Henderson, is out of town today. He is at the Tennessee Valley Public Power Association meeting and couldn't be here with us. We're here today to present to you our fiscal year 2027 budget for discussion and also give you an update on recent legislature actions that have an impact on how we provide services, electric and broadband to be exact, in the near future. As you're aware, Mr. Fivas just pointed out that our articles of incorporation that we filed with the state of Tennessee during the creation of Cleveland Utilities Authority requires us to present our annual budget to City Council for discussion and to answer any questions you might have. Just one thing I wanted to do before I turn it over to Marshall to talk about that, just to give you an update. We just hit 3,000 active internet subscribers. We had a celebration last week. We currently sit at about almost 3,200 active subscribers, and we're signing up as fast as we can. So, Marshall, we'll turn it over and let you hit the highlights of the budget.
I want to take a moment and just say thank you for allowing us this opportunity. As Joe hit on, obviously, a budget is really built on the value of its staff. And so it's a collective effort from beginning to end for all of us in each division, now being 4. It is a all hands on deck approach. And as Vice Mayor Webb is fully aware, it's an all involving project for everyone. And I'm fortunate today to have one of our key staff, Jill Beatty, with us. It's her and her team that really helps get this budget to the form that you see. And I like to give a lot of credit to that team and to each of the vice presidents that help. I do want to take just a moment to review through the budget. So if you have your copy there in front of you, I'll hit the highlights on the first page, which is a summary slide for you. The first thing we have to do, just like the city does, is we have to budget what we anticipate revenues to be. From our side, it's about how much volume that you sell in those cases and how many customers you anticipate having. And so across the top, you're going to see those volumes projected for both electric, water, and wastewater. We are projecting a slight growth in those as we talk about population growth. You also see that in number of customers, but it's not one-to-one in any of our services, which everyone asks the question, is conservation real? And yes, we do see that. Every appliance that you change out, every faucet you update, it uses less energy or less water. And so part of what we do is make sure that we balance our budget based on those expectations. You'll see in the top line revenues for all the divisions, we anticipate the electric division being just north of 128 million. Sorry if that cuts out, just see if that goes in out here. Water division 31.7 million, wastewater 24.2 million, and our fiber division at 4.3 million. As you all are aware, and as Walt hit on, we've now hit the target number where we actually start to see a return on the investment for the fiber division. We've seen a positive net income now for the last 4 months in a row. If we continue on this trajectory that we're headed on, we're going to see a net positive cash flow statement in the fiber division, which is what we ultimately all wanted to see, and thankfully we got there a little bit sooner than we anticipated. But that's just due to the acceptance and the appreciation we've seen from our customers. Word of mouth has been a big deal for us in the fiber division, and we don't take that for granted. We get up every single day making sure that we give the best service and the best price. And I've got a good highlight on that. I'll skip down to the net income for all 4 divisions. As you can see, there is a positive net income projected for all 4 divisions, including our fiber division. And then most importantly for utilities, our core principle is to install infrastructure and be in a position where our city can continue to grow and allow our citizens to have the reliable service that they come to expect. And you'll see across all 4 divisions there the investment. I do want to point out, we do project $33.3 million in the electric division, $15.5 million in the water, $26.8 million, and $2.2 million. It's not the 256 that Joe just presented on for the city, but we're getting as close as we can in our investment. So one of the key things we have to do, especially in our water and wastewater divisions, is we always have to be ahead of the curve. You can't install water and sewer after you've done a really nice development. And so we always have to ensure that we have capacity so that those developments can continue to go forward. Part of that is making sure that we have a rate structure that supports those investments. And so this year, we're taking steps to make some slight changes in how that rate structure looks. The overall cost to most of our customers will not change outside of the monthly bill that they get from us, but making changes like in the sewer cap removal starting in July, or the conversion to the ERU method in July, those are all done in such a way to fairly allocate the cost to the customers, and also make sure that we don't raise rates arbitrarily to cover the cost of development. And so we're doing our very best to balance those two out. We've held public meetings. I know a lot of you have attended those, that we presented on those, and we've talked to a lot of customers over the last year as they convert over to irrigation meters for their home. But what we truly believe is that it's going to give us a model that's going to allow the rate structure to support the growth that we know we have coming, and allow us to have the investment to continue to maintain the systems that we have today that our customers have come to know and enjoy. I will point out the debt numbers. So we do project debt in all 3 divisions. All 3 of those are projected for the use of infrastructure. And And then you'll see our payments on debt shown there as well. And so just to point out the final ending debt numbers for all 4 divisions, electric division just shy of 60 million. The vast majority of that is related to the fiber project. So that number continues to get paid back month after month as the fiber generates revenue and it makes a return to the electric system. Water division is 29.6, wastewater 51.3, and fiber is 7 million. The wastewater number is a very important figure because, as we know, the challenge in our industry is wastewater, and we have to make sure that we maintain a debt capacity so that we can make improvements in our system that we will need into the future. And what I mean is the core of our system. So our main outfall lines, our wastewater treatment plant, and our large lift stations that allow us to serve all of our customers. Like the city, we do include a forecasted wage increase for our employees at 3.5% for those passing evaluations. And we do anticipate a growth in employee count this year. It is fully attributable, though, to our fiber division. And so as that customer base grows, so will the need for technicians, engineers, operations staff to help support those customers and provide that service. I do want to point out, we do have a couple of rate increases this year. I'm very happy to say that the electric division does not forecast a rate increase, so we don't anticipate any change in electric rates. We do anticipate that TVA will make a change. We just don't know what that change will be just yet. And a lot of that is obviously driven by the nature of their board right now and the changes they're going through. So we expect to learn more about that as we move into the fall. For the water division, we anticipate a 5% rate increase. I'm proud to say that number is less than what we said this time last year. So we've done a very good job of holding down expenses in fiscal year 26. And then for the wastewater division, we are projecting a 7% increase in that as well. But again, that is less than the number that we projected this time last year. So both of those are good signs that we see going into the future as we work to keep our expenses down as best we can, but still building the infrastructure that we need. And then the one thing I want to leave on is a very high note. The fiber division, as most of you are customers today, and we appreciate that. We actually started selling our 1 gig residential plan at $69.99 a month. We are proposing to the board that we actually reduce that rate. So because of the success of the division and the return that we've seen in that, we are projecting that we lower that to $67.99. And that's not going to require that you call and ask for a promotion. It's going to show up on your bill automatically. And so every one of our customers will benefit from that. From the get-go, when we started this project, we said we want to do this for our community and we want to do it for the right reasons so that we can bring the best internet and phone service to Cleveland, but we want to do it at the lowest cost possible. And so that's what we're proposing in July, and we're excited to hopefully get that through. We'll meet with our board on Friday for final approval, but we did want to come before this body for questions and comments, and if there was any questions we can answer for you today.
So that rate will be passed on to current customers. I'm asking for a friend.
No, absolutely. So Councilman Moore, your bill shows up in July, it is going to be less.
Beautiful.
And we're not asking you to sign a contract.
One fantastic thing that we're really proud about this fiber project. We are way ahead of schedule, almost 18 months ahead of schedule on the construction and deployment, and we are well under budget. Marshall, I mean, millions under budget at the moment?
Yeah, 18-ish.
Yeah.
$18 million under budget. A lot of that has to do with the way that we built the infrastructure. So we built the infrastructure out to be as less duplicative as possible. So if we could put a larger cable instead of running 2 cables, we did that. And then we've also taken a very active approach to serving commercial properties and what I call multifamily properties. We didn't just build fiber to every structure without permission and a plan. And so because of that, it's allowed us to better utilize the construction that we did do so that it's better utilized by the customers.
It's a great product.
Thank you.
One other item,
Sorry, I think Vice Mayor Webb had a question.
sorry.
Marshall, I'm not going to ask the question you think I'm going to ask.
Okay.
When I went through the budget and I looked at the capital projects that you're proposing, do you think you can physically do that number at something like $78 million total? Do you think you can do that in a 12-month span?
So you asked the same question I ask our engineering teams every single year. And until this year, they've never hit that number. But wastewater this year, which is our largest capital item outside of what electric has going fiber, hit their number. And so because we've got plans already in place, a lot of these projects, they are moving forward at this point, and we anticipate being able to do that. I will say there is a small amount of the project, somewhere in the $10 to $12 million range, that has proposed SRF funding. That funding has gotten slower. That's just the easy way to say that. That process has gotten a little bit more, you have to work the system a little harder. And so because of that, we are looking at the possibility of issuing debt to cover those projects, but we don't anticipate allowing that to slow us down. We've really tried to take projects SRF and fund them in that measure because it is a cheaper alternative source for debt. But at a certain point, that offset in the 12 or 18-month delay that you get and that small interest savings, it's eaten up in the cost of the project because the projects continue to go up year over year.
Is that just a result of reduced funding for SRF, or what are they saying is causing it?
There's been a lot of transition with SRF. There's a lot of leadership changes taking place. Their process has changed, and now their funding has been restricted. So their allocation process takes a little bit longer, but they have assured us that they feel like they're on a good path. Mayor Brooks has helped us in that, and so we hope that that's moving forward.
I had another question.
Yes, sir.
Oh, in going through the budget, I looked at what the deposits are now for a customer, a residential customer. And if I looked at it correctly, if you're a residential customer coming in, you could potentially have a deposit of $569. I'm just wondering, do you still have the other options available to cover that deposit instead of cash?
Yes, sir, absolutely. And what we've done is we're actually in the process of adding more options. So our prepay program is a great option, in my opinion. We've only been able to offer that to our electric customers before. One of the major projects that's in our water division this year is the conversion to an AMI system in our outside electric footprint areas. And what those do is they allow us to read those meters via cell phone, so cellular, and it's going to allow us the ability to offer a prepay program to a water-only customer, which at that point only requires a $27.50 new customer charge and them to put $50 worth of service credit on their account. So, but yes, we still offer letters of credit, cosigners, prepay, or a deposit.
And a credit review.
Correct. Yes, sir.
That's it, Mayor.
All right. Any other comments or questions before we go back to Mr. Vineyard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to do just a quick update on some legislative action that has taken place this year in Nashville. This year's session in Nashville had more of an impact to Cleveland utilities than any other session in my almost 35-year career. As this session progressed, Marshall and I learned way more about that legislation process than we ever wanted to know. It's just quite interesting how things happen and how quickly they happen. Two bills were introduced this year. One of them was dealing with the expansion of board members for municipal utility boards, and the other one basically dealing with service territories between municipal electric system and cooperative electric systems. These bills took on various forms and had numerous amendments during the process, with movement to different bills and to different committees. The same topic would change bill numbers and then it would move from one committee to another, and it happened overnight. This process was very frustrating, and as some amendments were added last minute and no one was given the opportunity to testify either for or against these bills before they moved through committee and made their way to the House and Senate floor for a vote. We worked diligently for 2 to 3 weeks discussing these bills with our local legislative group, along with the sponsor of the amendment during this time frame. We cannot stress enough our gratitude for all the work that Mayor Brooks did on our behalf with his insight and knowledge of how everything works in Nashville. He taught us terms that we didn't know existed before, and we're very appreciative in the phone calls that he made.
Cannot be repeated.
We're also very grateful to our local Home Builders Association, ORBA, in supporting our efforts, along with TMEPA and their staff. Long story short, The House and Senate could not initially agree on a version of the bills that were submitted, and a conference committee was appointed. And as the result of that process was a conference report that created a bill that puts a pause on municipal utilities being able to provide electric services and thus fiber services to newly annexed areas. That pause takes effect on September 1st of this year and runs through September 2nd of next year. Any areas that are fully annexed by the city prior to September 1st of this year will still be allowed to be served by CU per existing state law. This pause will also keep us from providing fiber internet to the newly annexed areas, since we can only serve internet to customers we are serving with electric. Under this law, there will be circumstances in the future after September 1st when city residents will not be able to receive all city services. In other words, electric from Cleveland Utilities or fiber services from Cleveland Utilities. We do know that there will be additional legislation proposed next year, and that could make this pause a permanent, or could even have additional components moving forward. We plan to be very involved with our local legislators long before we get to next year's session in hopes of coming to an agreement for a solution that is beneficial to all parties involved. I just wanted to make you aware of some changes that came up, and it literally came up overnight in some cases. And we caught off guard on it, but we were being diligent and working with our local legislators and the other parties involved to come to a fair solution. Any questions about that at all, Mr. Mayor? Any comments?
I was just gonna say thank you, Mr. Benier, for the kind words. And I'm gonna paraphrase and tag on to what Councilman May said earlier about the budget. He was asking a question, and I think very accurately, does the public know how much goes into preparing these kind of budgets and the good that is being done on behalf of the citizens of Cleveland? I'm gonna reverse that. I don't believe the public realizes how much bad was done to the city of Cleveland by the state legislature. I was shocked and concerned, and remain so, because we took an oath when I was in Nashville to do no harm. And this bill, this amendment that was added in secret and conferred upon behind closed doors does do harm. So that my colleagues on the council understand, City of Cleveland residents, City of Cleveland taxpayers could potentially not be served by Cleveland utilities. You could pay taxes and live in the city of Cleveland and not be able to receive benefits or utilities or services by Cleveland Utilities. This was a very direct and concerted effort to circumvent the current laws and change them. And when Cleveland Utilities and others raised the alarm, a compromise in conference committee of pushing the pause button was brought forth. But what was not fixed was the harm done beginning in September to the Cleveland Utility ability to serve Cleveland taxpayers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very serious problem that is not fixed and prayerfully could be fixed in session. And
eventually we'll have problems annexing.
No doubt.
Because it won't be feasible.
Yeah, it is a to be continued discussion, and I'm very thankful that my colleagues and comrades at Cleveland Utilities said, we're not sure what's going on, and can you help us understand? And I was happy to help, and I was elected to help, and I will continue helping, and I will continue saying to anyone who will listen, folks, we got to watch. A president once said, trust but verify. And when this amendment was verified, I'm of the opinion it cannot be trusted. So
we're extremely appreciative of your for help during this process, and we're appreciative for letting us speak about that today.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
I was just gonna say, I can't believe anybody in their wildest thoughts about what would happen or could happen, believe that something like it almost did happen to you.
The alternative is it was slated to be worse.
Yep.
It was actually slated to completely remove that code section altogether. So the alternative of a 1-year pause creates maybe lasting effects on the system. You know, there's a reason we're a multi-service utility, because with multiple services, you can lower the cost of utilities. If you do not allow multi-service utilities to extend into areas together, it will raise costs. And one thing that the legislature, I don't think took into consideration, was that uncertainty in the utility space, which is capital intensive and debt necessary, has done nothing but drive the cost of municipal debt related to utility services higher. Because borrowers want to be paid back and they don't want uncertainty knowing where those customers may come from.
There are 95 counties in the state of Tennessee. This amendment was directed very specifically to make changes and affect 1 or 2 other systems very surgically. And because it was not able to be passed, the amendment simply does it to all 95 counties, which could not be more unfair. We're not the only municipality, I believe, that's going to be affected.
That's correct.
I'm hoping that we, as municipalities, there's 368 of us, can sort of lock arms and say, folks, you can't hurt us by trying to specifically surgically affect 2 systems. We've affected everyone in the state of Tennessee, and it's a slippery slope, I'll just say.
Need to get a head start on that long before they start meeting after the first of the year.
One version would basically destroy the new fiber system.
Yeah.
There was many twists and turns that a divestiture component of this bill that thankfully went away for the year would have absolutely demolished that division's prospects. By deleting customers from a business plan that was approved by the state of Tennessee Comptroller's Office, just like that. And you made investments, there's no way of understanding how that could feasibly work.
And Mr. Fivas has a comment, but I do believe that there could be legal ramifications going forward because it does such great harm. Mr. Fivas?
Is there any consideration of considering taking legal action against this?
So part of our process right now is obviously evaluating what the bill is. There were a lot of components that were happening prior to this legislation. There are city residents today that work under a franchise agreement that we have given notice that we were going to purchase those customers. Some of those customers have already been transitioned. That process has stalled because of this legislation, and so we continue to have conversations with both legal counsel and our neighbors to the north on how to work through this process. Obviously, it's never in the public power's best interest to have competing agendas when it comes to serving power. At the end of the day, we have to collectively do that together. We've seen that time after time after time. But there has to be the way to serve your city residents with those city services, and so we're working towards that.
We know that there's going to be additional legislation proposed next year. It's already discussed during this process that we're not done yet. We're going to come back and we're going to reopen the talks about the divestiture bill and some other topics. So during that process, any legal proceedings could be changed in next session. The law can change that quick.
Or legal action can slow it all down?
That's true too.
All right, any other comments or questions from the city council for our colleagues in Cleveland Utilities? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for the discount on our broadband bill. Dr. Elliott, I know you have the education Cleveland City Schools budget.
Yes, I'll provide a report that on May 4th, 2 weeks ago, our Cleveland City School Board met and unanimously voted and approved the amount of our 2026-2027 budget. That's $72,713,372 for the upcoming year. And hats off to Cindy Guerin and our financial team in Cleveland City Schools for all the work behind the scenes and also working with our board members to come to this. Just a couple of quick highlights related to this. Again, thank you to the City of Cleveland for their contributions to this budget. And also for the sales tax piece that goes into play for that helps us with our capital projects that we pursue. For instance, right now we're getting ready to add a cooling tower over at Ross to take care of their air conditioning system. It's ready to go as soon as school is out to work on that project. School buses, some technology. These are things that currently that some of our sales tax money is going to. So again, thank you to the City of Cleveland taxpayers for contributing to that. 63.5% comes from the state of Tennessee for our budget. That's the fiscal aspects that you have heard is the TISA funding. And so that's where we get 63% of our budget from. But then our local dollars between Bradley County, Cleveland City go to help us out for the rest of this budget. So I just coming today to give you an update of our budget has been approved and we carry on. 83% of the budget goes to our personnel in Cleveland City Schools when you break down the budget there.
All right, any comments or questions for Dr. Allen?
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Mr. Fivers, we will go back to your city manager's report. I think we're meeting with SS4A.
Yeah, and I want to comment on the utilities quandary. I really think that there should be some conversation about what options does Cleveland Utilities and the city have to do that. I think there will be residents that will be discriminated against. I think they'll be disenfranchised about not being able to have the same services as the people that live next to them because of the state law. We've taken action against the state and we won against the state, and I think we should really have serious conversations about that. With that being said, I want to introduce Dustin and David, who are going to give you a little presentation on one item on the agenda, which is a safety grant proposal and what the benefits of that are.
Thank you, Mr. Fivers. Justin and David. These are recognized.
We are here this afternoon to present about the Safe Streets and Roads for All planning grant.
It wouldn't be discriminating.
This grant is one that's been available for a couple of years now, and we are seeking to do a planning grant that could lead to implementation grant, which is much larger dollars. But first, or the next slide. Over the past, 8 years, they require us to use data from 2019 to 2023 so that all things are equal for all applicants. And we have had 42 fatal crashes in Cleveland. Over the past 3 years, 2023 to 2025, we had 19 fatal crashes. In those 3 years, we had 5,356 total crashes, with 99 of those being suspected serious injuries. This grant would allow us to produce a safety action plan and study all of Cleveland's road systems. It requires a 20% match from the local or the applicant. So we are estimating that the cost would be $300,000 for the grant. So federal share 80% being $240,000, and the city's match would be $60,000. And this would develop a comprehensive entire network safety action plan that, next slide please. basically, once you have an approved action plan, you can then apply for implementation dollars. Implementation dollars are up to $25 million in federal funds to address safety needs that are identified in an action plan. You have to have an action plan first before you get implementation dollars. But these projects range in different types of things, from intersection improvements to bicycle network safety improvements, sidewalk and accessibility improvements. This Huntsville, Alabama project was a big one that was approved last year, $21 million for a pedestrian bridge where they had over 60 fatalities in the last 5 years around that intersection. But this grant would open the door for us to be able to apply for much larger grants, and for an applicant share of $60,000, we could be addressing safety needs that could prevent fatalities and serious injuries in our community at dangerous intersections and places that historically we've had challenges.
20 or 25%.
Any questions?
Any
I have a
questions?
question. Do you have a breakdown of the fatalities if they were caused by drunk driving or like texting? Because I mean, those are separate issues to address versus this kind of safety issue.
We could get that breakdown, but I don't have it all right now.
It's 50%.
Any questions from the council? And this is on your calendar, it is
What we
item
need
E,
fund
consent
balance.
calendar for consideration, which is an explanation of that, item E on your consent. All right, Mr. Fivers, that takes us to item number, or 2B, TDOT statewide partnership program. And any updates you have on that?
Well, we've already done a lot of talking about a lot of really great things, and this should be the most important aspect of it. This last week, and we have not, this is the public announcement, is that the state awarded City of Cleveland $32 million for construction, the second leg of the 3rd Street Corridor project. So we have the bridge funded, we have the other part funded. We're waiting on a decision on our build grant at the federal level, which is being considered right now. But I think that we should take the opportunity to pat ourselves on the back. I think the council was very supportive. I think that the team included Robert Barnell, Dave Shealy, Dustin, Tommy, Seth, Jonathan, and I told you when we submitted that they had spent countless hours and did some great work, and I think it showed that the state TDOT commissioner was very impressed with our presentation on when we went to the state to give the pitch for that. But anyway, we have $32 million. I don't believe that there's, I haven't seen that there's a match component of that. And I think that that's a big win for the city of Cleveland. And we've already started the process to do the NEPA study. So essentially, the project has been started by the MPO. Those projects are slated to be managed by TDOT, and hopefully they can do the whole corridor at once and talk about the big dig. That will be a big project working on there, but with the lack of fanfare, and we're in the middle of a lot of conversation, is That's a big deal to get awarded $32 million. Comments? Any questions on any of that?
I will echo your comments about the staff. The commissioner specifically mentioned how great and well done the project was. I think the project was so advanced in its design and implementation that it allowed the commissioner and TDOT to immediately fund it and immediately accept it into the statewide partnership program. They were incredibly complimentary of the work that the city of Cleveland staff did, and I don't think that could be underestimated.
Would you entertain a motion that the minutes reflect that the council appreciates all the work that went into this by the staff?
That is a proper motion, Mr. Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Estes. All right, that is a proper motion and a proper second. Mr. Clerk, will you call that roll, please?
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Estes. Councilman Goff.
Aye.
Councilman Moore. Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman May. Carries 6-0.
Excellent work, Vice Mayor. Commendations to the staff, truly. Thank you. Mr. Fivas?
With that, I anticipated talking more that the state legislature had actually passed and done something good for local communities, and that was to increase the 911 surcharge. The governor had vetoed that. That would have been a huge help to our 911 board. You know, as we move forward into the next legislative session, we probably need to communicating with the new governor at that time that the needs and necessity of 911 funding. But whatever the state doesn't do for 911 funding, the county and the city have to pick up the pieces of that funding. So it's either they fund their portion or it becomes an unfunded mandate for us to help run those operations.
Joe, wasn't that pretty much approved at the state level in a nonpartisan way?
It had significant support from in the House and the Senate.
It was vetoed by the governor.
Vetoed by the governor, and because he called a special session and it was not named as something that they could vote on, it could not even be reconsidered. It was vetoed after they had adjourned. Never to be seen for it. Second.
So with that, Mayor, we're going to go through all the public hearings, so I'm not going to go through all the different public hearings because Robert's going to come and talk about each of them individually. Sure. I want to identify a couple key items on 7H. There is a opportunity to do an arts and entertainment district master plan. That certainly helps the arts and entertainment district get off the ground, but what this is in totality, we have this group and they're very good. You have this brand new $100 million corridor in that area. You have all the great work that's been done in the downtown, or the main core downtown. You have the Whirlpool, 50 acres of Whirlpool property. So what they're going to do is they're going to put together, we have some high-level plans for those areas. And they're going to drill down and come up with essentially a plan in which we can start marketing to investors that want to invest in these areas in Cleveland. This is, here's what the roadway corridor will look like on 3rd Street. Here's what options for the use of the property at Whirlpool, at the old woolen mill, and all of those. is that it's really an important piece to have that marketing piece that we can attract developers that can come in and invest in and bring more value added to the downtown. We're putting, and the state's putting in a lot of funds from the public sector, and you have to leverage those public sector funds and get your private investment, and we need to be able to show, because if you walk over there and look at it, it's hard to have a vision for what it will be in the future. And essentially, that's what it is. It will also help give very clear direction and suggestions to the arts and entertainment body on how we can make that area into an economic resource for the city, which many of those areas in the last 30 to 40 years have struggled, and they're doing a little bit better now. But I think that's what that is trying to accomplish. One of the key pieces is the 3rd Street corridor that we just talked about. Is we have to put together a plan. They did this with an overlay district for the Cumberland Avenue. If you remember what Cumberland Avenue looked like, it was a 5-lane road, and they had single, up in Knoxville, single level buildings. They put in a plan that put parameters around what can be built there and what you're looking for and aesthetic standards and all of that. And to get that corridor to resemble what we may want it to, there needs to be a conversation, and they're going to give us some advice on how to get the highest and best uses out of that new corridor. So that's one item. I think that's probably, item 7E, that's what Dustin and David gave a presentation on. And Mr. Mayor, you can take item O off the agenda. And I think we're ready to start moving forward on that stuff.
Remove item O off of new business. We will move forward then. Thank you, Mr. Fidus, for your time today, your extended time today. That takes us back to where we left off on the 3-item agenda, which was item number 6. Petitions and communications. Mr. Barnell, are you ready? We will begin with item number 6A, public hearing to clear public comments concerning 2027 budget. I'll declare the public hearing to be open. Would anyone like to speak in favor of anything that you've heard today concerning the 2027 budget? Seeing none. Would anyone like to speak in opposition to this statements and conversations that have been had today on the 27 budget? Seeing none, I will declare that budget hearing to be closed. Item number 2, or B, is a public hearing concerning a request by Robert Stewart Bush and Carla Senior Bush, trustees, for consideration of ordinance to zone 38.17 acres of property at APD 40 Pleasant Grove Church Road from CHR1 into now PUD 74. It's approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. I'll declare the public hearing to be open. Mr. Barnell, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is a rezoning request that was annexed in several years ago, originally zoned highway commercial, without direct access to APD 40. The commercial movement has not moved forward, and the interest over the past few years has been residential. This request is approval of that zoning to a PUD to allow single family detached development. The PUD doesn't include some improvements to the existing infrastructure, where the new infrastructure will connect to Pleasant Grove Church Road at that location. And this is in close proximity to the newly constructed LIC North. So, all of that was constructed, the interchange as well as the south and north accesses to accommodate development of these parcels. I'm happy to answer any questions. Got it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Barnell. Any comments or questions from the council for Mr. Barnell? Seeing none. Would anyone like to speak in favor of this request on this ordinance change? Seeing none, would anyone like to speak in opposition of this request? Seeing none, we will declare the hearing to be closed. Item C is a public hearing to hear public comments concerning a request by Thomas Maupin and Betsy Maupin Gentry for consideration of a resolution to adopt a plan of service, a resolution to annex, and an ordinance to zone 59.6 acres from FAR to PUD 76, property located along Georgetown Road. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. I'll declare this public hearing open. Mr. Barnell, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As stated, this is a annexation plan of service, as well as a zoning. The plan of service does include some utility infrastructure improvements required, and those meetings have taken place, and everyone's in agreement on how that will take place. The property is contiguous to previously annexed parcels along Georgetown Road, where it was recently widened to 5 lanes. The zoning in this case includes both commercial and residential uses. There will be commercial areas along the frontage of Georgetown Road, a 5-lane highway, and then the residential will be behind that. And at the back of the property, there's a fairly extensive open space area left as well. It is for approximately 183 single-family houses, though there are some options to get creative with patio homes and townhomes and small portions of it, but those numbers are limited. So both Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. I'm happy to answer any questions on any of those items.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Barnell?
I have a question.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Robert, in the plan of service for electric service,
Yes.
the response was pretty vague. Is that something that's being addressed?
It is, yes. The applicants have met with Cleveland Utilities, and everybody seems to be comfortable with what's needed.
For the electric service?
Yes, that is my understanding. This was always going to be an interesting annexation because of the proximity to what's across the street in terms of electrical service providers. And I do know that with the legislation that was discussed earlier, that was ongoing as this was being analyzed as well.
So all parties are informed?
Yes, all parties are absolutely informed and moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, would anyone like to speak in favor of this request? If you'll identify yourself for the record.
Ben Berry, Berry Engineers. Yeah, we're excited to get this annexed before September 1st. So we can have fiber services, but it does fill a gap. I mean, there's been properties that have been annexed further up Georgetown Road and Eureka Road, and this is kind of filling the gap between those properties and Green Acres and Food City kind of to the south. This community's got a lot of restrictions to a lot of communities, so excited about it.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Barnell? Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this request? Keep our raising your hand. Anyone seeking to speak in opposition, like sign? Seeing none, declare this public hearing to be closed. Item B is a public hearing to hear public comments concerning a request by Southeast Land Trust for consideration of an ordinance to zone 1.33 acres, property located along Blackburn Road from R3 to CG General Commercial, approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. I'll declare this public hearing to be open. Mr. Barnell, we will hear your report.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is, as stated, property currently zoned R3. The applicant, the parcel in question has R3 to 2 sides and then highway commercial to the south. This is in close proximity to the newly approved Park Ridge, facility, at Blackburn Road, APD 40. And, the property owners interested in rezoning commercial. We recommended the general commercial be the option because it's a better step down when you're going off of a major highway. Still allows a lot of commercial uses, but isn't as impactful highway commercial zoning on neighboring properties around it. And both planning commission as well as staff recommend approval. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Barnell? Seeing none, Mr. Barnell, would anyone like to speak in favor of this request? Please indicate by raising your hand. Seeing none, would anyone like to speak in opposition? Like sign. Seeing none, we declare this public hearing closed. Item E is a public hearing to hear public comments concerning a request by CTP Properties for consideration of an ordinance to amend PUD 22 by updating the concept plan and to reduce the number of units, remove townhomes as an allowable use, and replace the required berm along Hensley Road with a landscape buffer. Approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Declare this public hearing. Mr. Barnell, your report.
Yes, sir. This is a PUD that was originally annexed and approved in 2020. Soon after, some wetlands were discovered on the property, and that caused the builder developer to pull back and focus on other properties and then rethink what they wanted to do here. This request removes the townhome component, reshapes the design and preliminary site plan for the development, and then we've moved away from the berms in a lot of places just because of there's wetlands here and that creates other issues. But a landscape street yard the same width is still required, which will still give you the aesthetic view you're looking for. Otherwise, there are no changes to this bill. Both staff and the planning commission recommended approval. Happy to answer any questions if you have.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Barnell? Thank you, Mr. Barnell. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the request? If you please state your name for the record, please.
Lexi Hankin with CTP Properties. We're really excited to finally get this project off the ground. We are ultimately just removing townhomes based on the current market and reducing the lot count based on site commissions. So I can answer any questions if there were any.
Any comments or questions? Thank you so much. Is there anyone else seeking to speak in favor of this request? Please indicate by raising your hand. Seeing none. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Like sign. Seeing none, we declare this public hearing closed. Item F is public hearing to hear public comments concerning a request by Tom Kate for consideration of an ordinance to amend PUD 48 by revising Area 3 by changing the allowed use to a 40-foot wide townhome lots and 40-foot wide single-family home lots. It was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. I declare this public hearing to be open. Mr. Barnell, your report.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You may notice a trend today. We've got several visions. A lot of them are involving removing townhomes and going to single family. They still had the ability and wanted to keep the ability within this PUD to do townhomes. That's the direction they ended up going. But the way it was written before, it didn't allow single family detached in that area. And so what this does is mirror the kind of phase next to it where that was allowed. It's a slight change and probably something we should have noticed right away. But the lot count only changes, and we'll see how it builds out. But it would be a difference of 2 or 3 total lot difference if it was all single family detached versus townhomes. It just gives more flexibility to builders to meet the market as they see it as they're building. Both staff and planning commission recommended approval. Happy to answer any questions if there are.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Barnell? Thank you, sir. Seeing none, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this request? Please state your name for the record.
Been very engineers. This is super simple. The road's already built, utilities are already installed. It's planned for 40-foot townhome lots. that buyer has gone the way of all these other projects where they want to do single family. So there's really no changes on the ground. They just want to add single family to the use instead of the townhomes.
Mr. Berry, any comments or questions for Mr. Berry? Sir, anyone else seeking to speak in favor of this request, please indicate by raising your hand. Speak in opposition, like sign, if you'll raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll declare this public hearing closed. Item G, public hearing to hear public comments concerning a request by Psalm 59 LLC for consideration of amend Plat 66 by adding an additional 4.2 acres to the platted property located along Old Paso Road and increasing the maximum allowable units from 45 units to 60 units. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Public hearing to be open. Mr. Parnell, we will hear your report.
Yeah, this is a situation, this PUD came through not too long ago, and the applicant was able to acquire some property next to this parcel in question where the development's ongoing, and they'd like to absorb it into the development. So it updates total acreage, it updates the total unit count, and includes an updated preliminary site plan. It's all single-family detached homes in that area. Both staff and the planning commission recommended approval. Happy to answer any questions if you've got it.
Thank you, Mr. Parnell. Any comments or questions from Mr. Parnell? Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in favor of this request, please indicate by raising your hand. Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition, like sign. Seeing none, we declare this public hearing closed. Item H, public hearing to hear public comments concerning a request by City of Cleveland to amend the Cleveland, Tennessee zoning ordinance, Appendix C, by adding section 3.45 to require traffic impact analysis for new developments. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. I'll declare this public hearing to be open. Mr. Parnell, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was written in coordination with transportation staff. Originally went to Planning Commission in December. There were several comments and questions from the Planning Commission at that time. As you all probably see, there are occasions where we choose to require a traffic impact analysis based on development. What this does is put forth specific guidelines to how and why we would require those analysis, and gives anybody developing in the city kind of a idea up front. Well, I'm not going to hit this threshold, or I am, and I need to be prepared to do that. You know, as we continue to grow, and we talked about it, being prepared and understanding how these developments impact our infrastructure, it's important to staff to understand that so that we can budget correctly and also get cooperation from these developers on infrastructure improvements. That's what this analysis will help us do, and it is a specific guideline, so it's not arbitrary. We're very specific in how we require it and what those thresholds are. So I'm happy to answer any questions if there are.
Thank you, Mr. Parnell. Any comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, I will ask if there's anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this request. Please indicate by raising your hand. Seeing none. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition, like sign. Seeing none, I will declare this public hearing to be over. Item I, public hearing to hear public comments concerning a request by the Holland family for consideration of a resolution to adopt a plan of service, a resolution to annex, and an ordinance to zone about 0.53 acres of property at C2 unincorporated county to CH Highway Commercial for property located along Dalton Pike. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. I'll declare this public hearing to be open. Mr. Warnell, your report.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an annexation request. It's contiguous to the city limits with zoning highway commercial. And we reviewed it, and there's some ongoing discussions on Dalton Pike. This one is at the top of the hill there, close to the Walmart and Zaxby's there on Dalton Pike. It has expenses in it from Cleveland Utilities with plan of service, and everyone is aware of those expenses and comfortable with it. And so as it moves forward, both Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. there is one thing I'd like to note, a small area of right of way that they may be, working to acquire through the state, that would make this parcel bigger, so we may come back and add to it at some point, but for now, this is,
Excess land.
excess land process, yes, and I think that there's, some more time before they're allowed to apply for that there.
Certainly. Any comments or questions for Mr. Brownell? Thank you, Mr. Brownell.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this request? Please indicate by raising your hand. Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of this request? Like sign, and seeing none, I will declare this public hearing to be closed. Thank you all for your patience on those number of public hearings we had today. It takes us to item 7 on the council agenda for the consent agenda. That agenda has been properly distributed to all members of the council prior to this meeting. It does require a motion today from the council for the consent agenda. So moved. Second. Got a motion by Councilman Mann, properly seconded by Councilman Moore. Any comments, questions, or concerns about the consent agenda?
May, who was the first?
May Moore,
Thank you.
the DMs. No further comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman May?
Aye.
Councilman Moore?
Aye.
Councilman Goff?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb?
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie? Councilman Estes?
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Takes us to item 8 on the agenda, which is unfinished business, of which there is none today. This is item 9, which is reports from council members. We begin today in the 5th district with Councilman Goff.
Yeah, I've got 2 things. I had one question regarding the intersection of Mouse Creek and Paul Huff. And sent some pictures to Chris. I don't know if you can see them or not, but basically it's been quite a while and there's still cones all up and down it. It hasn't been completed. I was just curious on get some question on completion of that intersection and when we can pretty it up.
Yeah, I think my understanding, and I'll get some nods, is they're still waiting for pedestrian PEDs to be put in by Cleveland Utilities.
Yes.
That Cleveland Utilities needs to go in and put in the appropriate conduit for that, and then we would finish up the project at that point.
Do you have any clue on a timeline of when Cleveland Utilities, we shouldn't have let them leave the room until they told us.
We'll get you an answer.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know off the top of your head, David? But is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And the second question I had was, I was a large proponent last year of removal of the traffic light. It was green facing the opposite direction on Broad Street and Bobby Taylor Avenue intersection. The unintended consequences of removing the green light has gotten me flogged a few times by individuals trying to cross the street. So I'm curious as to how quickly we can get a Wi-Fi connected walkable traffic signal to fix that problem, or have another solution to put a light back temporarily, or keep me in safety.
Yeah, one of the projects that we have budgeted and do that is to do all 4 corners there, and we'll start with that corner to get that remedied. I think we have came to the conclusion that we just need to do what we need to do and get it done, and that will be the first corner. But our intention is to do all 4 corners around there. So we hear the same concerns, and it's pretty high on our list to there. Originally we thought there would be a Wi-Fi solution, and TDOT, because it's a TDOT road, has not approved anything.
There is a Wi-Fi solution to supplement an existing pedestrian crosswalk, not to construct a new one. since we have nothing present, there's not a wireless option.
Okay,
It's on our short list.
okay, good. That's good to hear.
Yes, we agree.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Webb.
Just so Councilman Goff knows, I did think of him the other day when I tried to cross there.
We could just put it back.
If it's gonna take a while, it may be a better option. My conclusion that I came up with is that while a vehicle-to-vehicle head-on collision would be extremely bad, a vehicle versus pedestrian collision would be much worse. Therefore, the better current situation is to have a traffic light green the wrong direction, I guess, than not at all.
The right solution is for us to just come up with a solution and do it.
Yeah.
Is that intersection, am I right, in the earlier presentation you gave, working on all 4 major corners of the courthouse? Would that not include that corner?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And that would be the first one that we would do.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's budgeted and that infrastructure around there, and I think I said it earlier, is all 45 years old, David, do you know?
Maybe 20 years ago it was.
Oh, yeah, so it's like,
It's old.
That's old.
so at the end of the day, the technical issue is we barely have any replacement parts for that. It just needs to be replaced. And we just need to go and figure that out and start doing those. And that's what conclusion that we came to doing that. So we have an overall problem that needs to be fixed, and that will allow us to also fix this other problem.
Does that include the reacquisition of stoplights by the city? For a friend?
Yeah, in what you guys just voted on, and I should have pointed that out. I think it was in there. Was that in there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the end. Is that that we're obviously we will own them, which will be a financial assistance to us to do that. It has no bearing on this, but at the end of the day, it would be better to do this transfer, get ownership of them, and then you don't have to pay the 10% cost on the upgrades that we would normally have to pay. So it would be just dollar for dollar.
Joe, it's being state right away. Can we maybe get the state to ante up?
I'm going to give them at least another week before I ask them after they gave us $32 million. That David, would the state give us any money for that?
There is it's called a state traffic modernization program, up to $125,000 a year. This is an excellent candidate for it. Wouldn't pay for the entire intersection if we have to upgrade all facilities, but there are some options, other grant options.
We have one of those grants for crossing at Willow, 17th Street.
I don't think it used that grant, but it's something very similar.
Oh, okay, so it's different. If you want to wait 2 years, that's the pathway you go.
No.
Our goal is probably to get this one done and then look for grant solutions on the other 3. I think that's the right answer.
All right. Back to you, Vice Mayor Webb.
It seems like I recall in the past that we had some discussions, and it might have been at the staff level, about 11th Street off of Wildwood. It's a real short street.
there was a proposal for that street to be abandoned. Does anybody have any kind of update on that?
Doesn't ring a bell, but I can, give me a chance to look that one up.
So Mr. King owns one,
Yeah.
Mr. Jones owns the other side.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Actually, both sides.
Have-
own the same.
well, last year,
Okay.
they went out and had done significant work out there, Tommy's crew. And I think the thought was that we had fixed the issues for what they had done. And so, and I thought that the closing of that was due to the water issues that were there. Do you think that they still want to abandon that, and for what reason?
I think so, for some additional development. There was one owner of both parcels now, on both sides of the street.
Okay.
And they're interested in upgrading some facilities.
Yeah, because I believe
So that's good to
Mr.
know. Joe and Ken, the last I talked to Mr. King, he did not own the little triangle. He was fine, he was pleased, Tommy, with what you did. Because that
Oh,
was,
he was very happy with it.
yeah, he was very happy, and I was like, okay,
Robert,
Yeah.
do you have some information on that?
I'm just saying, if they want to work to abandon it, they tell them to coordinate with me.
yeah. If they own both sides of that street,
And then if they have both sides, it's easy.
I think it would be the opportunity for some development on Wildwood there.
It's pretty tight right there, so.
I'll talk with Chad.
Yeah, that's a real weird alignment.
All right. Anything else? Councilman Moore?
Not today, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman McKenzie? Thank you, madam. Councilman Estes?
yes. I want to thank a couple of downtown businesses. I was on here a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, sorry, I missed that. Terra Running went out Monday night collecting trash and collected scads. I was shocked how much trash they collected. I really appreciate Terra doing that. Ben Barry's here, Barry Engineering, entertaining Walker Valley's AP history classes, and buying them lunch, walking through St. Luke's doing the same thing with history folks. I really appreciate that, just the energy both those bring downtown. Seth and Dustin, great presentation today. I liked it. I'm gonna steal some of your slides for something I gotta do next month, so thank you very much. I like the way it was organized, and I think it was very well received, just the vibe in the room. Christie, I really want the record to reflect that this is the first council meeting without Peggy Hathcock on staff in the city of Cleveland. 36 years, I think. I know a lot of people have said a lot of nice things. I'm not gonna try to add to that. I can't top some of the things that have been said about Peggy, but there's someone that served the city so well in so many capacities. And I just want the record, I want that in our permanent minutes. Taylor, thank you for the CDBG stuff. I went through most of it. It really did, you and Kathy, it really reflected, I think some of the discussion and tied in what we've been working on. I really appreciate that. Thank you for sending that. Joe, I know we met last week on the budget. We're going over the handouts and the budget that you gave me. I just appreciate your irrational commitment to parks. You love parks. And this quality of life and it, just being on this cycle and making it a priority and doing it right. I get so, if there's anything I get praised about the most, it's the parks. And we just celebrated a big one this week. I didn't quite feel up to stuff, but, and and looking at the phase 2, I think that makes Cleveland so much better. And I know you're a drive and a motivator behind that, and I appreciate it. Also, Joe, I know you were asking, say, we're gonna talk about this later. I know in fiscal year 29, you talked about the family transition housing. Gosh, I was at the shelter the other day, and I know the county has $500,000 for still ARPA funds, and I know they gotta get that done. If we could move that up, I would love it. I don't, $4 million is a lot, even if that was, I don't know, there's enough margin. Just one person, I see that as a real need of the city. And then
The-
finally,
the-
Chief Bates had a colleague's house catch fire. Started in the oven, went to the sink, went to the garage, 3 places. She told me everything that your men did and women did, and she was so complimentary. The downdrafts, the cleanup, and checking on afterwards. I don't know the operating procedures you do, but she just was clicking them off, and I just want you to hear that, from me.
I'll pass it along.
Yeah, Mayor, thanks, that's all.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Cast has been excused. Councilman May.
No, sir, I don't need it.
Thank you. I would like to add to Councilman Estes' comments about the dedication of the Jim Sharp Park. I hate it that Councilman Cast is not here. It was in his district, and he kind of was in charge of the event, but it was not only to me and my family and granddaughter who enjoyed the slides and the trampolines. I think it's the most beautiful park to date, and I think it was the best attended park dedication in my tenure. And it just was so well done.
And the public wasn't even invited.
And the public wasn't invited. We had George Washington and all of his patriots, and we had Colonel Benjamin, and it was just fantastic. We had public works and firefighters and city council and family and friends, and a great deal of First Baptist Sunday School class, and Bev, and everybody did a hard work, and Sue printed out 71 commendations to give to everybody, and it just was just a great event. And I'm very, very thankful to all the staff and everyone who made that possible. I did have one item, Mr. Myers, couple of emails on the 3000 block of Highland Drive. The Woodruff family have been residents there since 1953. Grandparents, parents, and now the third generation, and concerns about the very large number of people throwing out trash and dumping trash and everything from residential to commercial and everything in between. And she sent a couple of emails and is concerned about not hearing. And if we could just send some trucks or somebody over there to the 3000 block of Highland Drive. She calls it the Duck Pond District, so that kind of tells me what part of town. I think it's in Councilman May's
District, yes.
4th District area. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Marcia and I went and tried to look at that the other day, didn't we?
Great.
The house?
On Highland?
That was on Highland, that was on Hall.
Was it? Okay. No, go ahead.
Yeah, above the Duck Pond, yeah.
So,
All right, that concludes our report to the council members. Item number 10 is new business. We have quite a few today to discuss. I think the most important of which is in your packets on pages 102 through 108. The fiscal year 2027 budget has been presented. And this is the motion for adoption. It does require a motion from this council.
Second.
Proper motion by Councilman May, probably seconded by Councilman Estes. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman May,
aye.
Councilman Estes, Councilman Goff,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb, Councilman Moore,
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. Item B is ordinance 2026-18. It's the adoption of the 2026 tax rate at the very low rate of 1.2632, found in your packets on page 109. It does require a motion from the council.
So moved.
Second.
Proper motion by Vice Mayor Webb, properly seconded by Councilman Estes. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Webb,
Aye.
Councilman Estes,
Aye.
Councilman Goff,
Aye.
Councilman Moore,
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie,
Aye.
Councilman May.
You know, before I vote, one thing that we don't point out is we split our sales tax with the county. We're, of all the cities that Joe listed, we're the only one that splits the sales tax. And we still hold it at this rate. Yes, On my vote, aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Item C is zoning ordinance 2026-19 concerning a request by Robert Stewart Bush and Carla Senior Bush, trustees, for consideration of an ordinance to zone 38.17 acres of property located at APD 40 and Pleasant Church Road from CHR1 to now PUD 74. Approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. It does require a motion.
So moved.
Second. Proper motion by Councilwoman McKenzie, properly seconded by Councilman Moore. Any comments, questions, or concerns from the council? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Moore. Councilman Goff. Vice Mayor Webb. Councilman Estes. Councilman May.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Item D is resolution 2026-48. Sorry, Christine. Concerning a request by Tom Maupin and Betsy Maupin Gentry for consideration of a resolution to adopt a plan of service for 59.6 acres of property located at Georgetown Road. Approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. It does require a motion today, Council.
So moved. Second.
A motion by Councilman Moore, properly seconded by Vice Mayor Webb. Additional comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Moore. Vice Mayor Webb. Councilman Goff. Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Estes. Councilman May.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Resolution 2026-49. Item E, concerning a request by Thomas Maupin and Betsy Maupin Gentry for consideration of resolution to annex 59.6 acres of property located at Georgetown Road. Was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Does require a motion this afternoon from the council.
So moved.
Proper motion by Councilman May. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly seconded by Councilman Estes. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Roll.
Councilman May. Councilman Estes. Councilman Goff. Vice Mayor Webb. Councilman Moore. Councilwoman McKenzie. Carries 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Item F, zoning ordinance 2026-20 concerning a request by Thomas Maupin and Betsy Maupin Gentry for consideration of ordinance to zone about 59.6 acres of property from FAR to PUD 76. Property located on Georgetown Road, approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Does require a motion today from this council.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman May, properly seconded by Webb. Additional comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman May. Vice Mayor Webb. Councilman Goff. Councilman Moore. Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Estes. Carries 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Item G, zoning ordinance 2026-21 concerning a request by Southeast Land Trust for consideration of an ordinance to zone 1.33 acres of property located at Blackburn Road from R3 to CG General Commercial. Approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. It does require a motion from this council. Proper motion by Councilwoman McKenzie, properly seconded by Councilman Moore. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Moore. Councilman Goff. Vice Mayor Webb. Councilman Estes. Councilman May.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Item H, ordinance 2026-22 concerning a request from CTP Properties for consideration of an ordinance to amend PUD 22 by updating the concept plan to reduce the number of units, remove townhomes as an allowable use, and replace the required berm along Hensley Road with a landscape buffer. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Does require a motion and a second.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Moore, properly seconded by Councilman Goff. No further discussion. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Moore. Councilman Goff. Vice Mayor Webb. Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Estes. Councilman May.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. Item I, ordinance 2026-23 concerning a request by Tom Cate for consideration of an ordinance to amend PUD 48 by revising Area 3 by changing the allowed use to 40-foot wide townhome lots and 40-foot wide single-family home lots approved by the planning commission 8-0. Does require a motion.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilman Moore, properly seconded by Vice Mayor Webb. There's no further discussion. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Moore.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Excuse me, Councilman Goff. Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman May.
Aye.
Carry 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I'm sorry. This gets monotonous up here. One of these guys cracks a joke.
Got out of order.
Gets me out of my role. Item J, ordinance 2026-24 concerning request by Psalm 29 LLC for consideration of ordinance to amend PUD 66 by adding an additional 4.2 acres to the PUD for property located along Old Tasso Road northeast portion of tax map 050, increasing the maximum allowable units from 45 to 60 units, approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Does require a motion for item J. So moved. Second. Proper motion by Councilman May, properly seconded by Councilman Goff. There's no further discussion. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman May.
Aye.
Councilman Goff.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Moore. Councilwoman McKenzie.
Aye.
Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Carry 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. Item K, ordinance 2026-25 concerning request by the city of Cleveland to amend Cleveland, Tennessee zoning ordinance appendix C by adding section 3.4.5 to require traffic impact analysis for new developments approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Does require a motion from this council. So moved. Proper motion by Moore. Is there a second? Second. Properly seconded by Vice Mayor Webb. There's no further discussion. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Moore.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Goff.
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie.
Aye.
Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman May.
Aye.
Carry 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Item L, as in long meeting, resolution 2026-50 concerning a request by the Hahn family for consideration of a resolution to adopt a plan of service for 0.53 acres of property located at Dalton Pike, included on tax map 066I. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. It does require a motion today. Proper motion by Moore. Is there a second? Properly seconded by Councilwoman McKenzie. With no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Moore. Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Goff.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman May.
Aye.
Carry 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. Item M, resolution 2026-51 concerning a request by the Hahn family for consideration of a resolution to annex 0.53 acres of property located along Dalton Pike. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. It does require a motion. So moved. Proper motion by Moore, properly seconded by Estes. If there's no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Moore.
Aye.
Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman Goff.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman May.
Aye.
Carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Item N, zoning ordinance 2026-26 concerning a request by the Hahn family for consideration of an ordinance to zone 0.53 acres from C2 unincorporated county to CH highway commercial located along Dalton Pike. This was approved by the Planning Commission 8-0. Does require a motion. Proper motion by Moore. Is there a second? Second. Proper second by Councilwoman McKenzie. No further discussion. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Moore.
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilman Goff.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman May. Carry 6-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. Item O has been removed from today's agenda by City Manager Pybus. Takes us to item 11, announcements. City offices will be closed Monday, May 25th in observance of Memorial Day. The City Council meeting that was scheduled for May 25th has been canceled. The next City Council meeting will be held Monday, June the 8th, 2026. Any further comments, questions from the council? Being no further items on the agenda, I declare this meeting adjourned.
When did I get a copy of the signed resolution?
Sometimes you say, Something you can do for me, I need Travis.
Yeah, sounds good.
Burning, I need his help with something. Set up a meeting. Text me his cell phone number.
Tell you said it ain't their fault. Sheila, we ain't waiting on them.
What?
Tell you said we ain't waiting on them. So, you know Tad over there?
I know Jeremy Chastain.
Maybe you can connect with somebody over there and see. I mean, they,
Okay.
I sent out a few texts while after that, and they said we ain't waiting on them, so I don't know.
You're supposed to put the footers in. We're tapping the footers. We're not putting the pets in there. We're putting the footers in.
Okay. I don't know if they've done it or not. I just, if they're saying that, maybe we'll figure out what's going on.
I'll check it out.
Your signature on this for the SS4A grant?
Is that all right?